My name's Dan, this is Cora, and this is Cora's top 20 games of all time. We've done, well, it
was top 70.
It started at top 70, but that's all forgot. We don't even like those games anymore, do we, Cora? They're all rubbish games. You're all about these games. You've said you're never going to play any of those games again. That's what she said to me before.
I have said that.
So, no, they were all great games, but these are your real favourite games. We're getting to the real...
top 20 games. My top 20 favourite games.
Yeah, people, this is getting really meaty stuff now. It's very exciting. I'm very excited to see what's on this list because I've got no idea. Idea. So, without messing around any further, let's get on with it. Number 20. Okay, Cora, what's your number 20?
Number 20 is Splendor or Splendor Marvel, either one.
Either one, yeah. You play Splendor.
But I kind of like Splendor Marvel a little bit more because of the cool pictures. Yeah,
because the pictures are cool. There are some rule differences between...
Yeah, but barely any.
Barely any.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, and our old copy of Splendor fell out the back of my car about 3 years ago and went all over the road and got a bit muddy and things like that. So I replaced it with Splendor Marvel, and Splendor Marvel does have some cool pictures. So what is it? Just briefly, what's kind of Splendor about, and why do you like it?
Well, you have to collect gems to buy cards with the gems, and they give you points, and then you want more points. It's not a game where you want less points; you want more points.
You want more points, yeah. So you're spending gems to buy cards, and those cards can help you get more gems, which can help you get better cards, and so it's what they call an engine building game, and it's really satisfying. I think some people don't like Splendor, but I think they're talking rubbish. I think it's a great game. It's a great game, and you really enjoy it, don't you?
Yeah.
And so and why do you like it? Do you think?
Well, I sort of like just the look of all the cards, and I like the rubies, and I like how you sort of spending it. And if you get more cards, then each card is like one free ruby, but you don't spend it. You're just there, so it's very it doesn't have to be a ruby. And in the Marvel one, it's Infinity Stones. So that's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah. So you like the satisfaction of getting better and better and stronger and stronger, and again building something. That's what it sounds like.
And you can actually collect all the Infinity Stones in the game.
Yeah, you can. So that's fantastic. Number 20 is Marvel Splendor or just Splendor, and on to number 19. Okay, Cora, what's number 19?
Number 19 is Troll and Dragon.
Troll and Dragon. Now, this is one that kind of flew under the radar a little bit, so a lot of people might not know what Troll and Dragon is. So, what is Troll and Dragon?
Well, it's sort of a small box game, isn't it? And you roll... Do you roll the dice?
There's some dice rolling in it. It's a push your luck game
And you need to collect gold and like silver, don't you? Is it silver?
Yeah, gold and silver.
Yeah.
Or diamonds, I think. So it's a game of kind of two parts really. One part of it is you're rolling dice and collecting treasure, but also trying to get to. So the dice will come up with various results, which allows you to collect treasure, but also allows you to get keys to the lock to get into the dragon's tomb.
Yeah.
And then the second half of it is when you get into the dragon's tomb.
You roll the dice, and if it lands on, say, gold, then you pick 1 gold out, or if it lands on 2 gold, you pick 2 gold out. And the other person, meanwhile, is rolling the dice and trying to get 2 dragons. So if you get 1 dragon, then you just leave it there, then you roll the other dice. Once you get 2 dragons, you have to put everything back and go back in. But that's why it's push your luck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can stop before they get 2 dragons and just get happy with what you got and take it.
Or you could just be a bit more adventurous or greedy, depending on how you want to put it, and just keep on rolling while the other player's furiously trying to roll dragons in order.
And then you might lose everything.
Yeah. So it's a push your luck game with dice, and at one point the other player is rolling against you, which is quite exciting.
It's a competitive game.
A competitive game, yeah.
So that's why they're rolling against you.
Yeah. And so why do you like it?
Because I can make you lose all you got.
How rude!
And I always go too far, and you always get it really quickly, don't you?
Yeah, you do like to push your luck quite a bit, yeah.
You know, push your luck games like boost.
And then when I'm trying to be a bit adventurous, somebody takes great delight in stealing all my my money off me. So yeah, a really fun game is Troll and Dragon, and one we recommend. Okay, on to number 18. What's your number 18, Cora?
Number 18 is Baobab.
Baobab. It's also called Tumble Tree.
Yeah, that's how we have it.
Yeah, in the UK, I think. Do you know what? No, well, it is. do you know what a baobab tree is?
No.
It's a big
tree.
It's a big tree. It is in Africa. And it's got a big, wide canopy.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called Baobab, because in this game, what would you do in this game?
Flatten it. Well, you have to balance little cards, don't you, on the tree. And again, it's a game where you use the box, and you like games where you use the box.
I do like games where you use the box. Or the tin rather than this. So this is the tin that comes in, and the cards are round circular cards, and then you're balancing it on top of the tin to try and make a big wide tree canopy.
And you in some of the ones, like a chameleon, you can use it as anything. Yeah. But that doesn't really make sense. I shouldn't have done that one first. But some of the other animals, you have to drop it, or drop it with your eyes closed, or put it in with your eyes closed.
Yeah, if it's a bat, you have to drop it with your eyes closed. If it's a snake, I think you have to slide it in between some other cards. Yeah. There's one where you have to slam it down.
Yeah, you do. You have to go. And then everything goes up. Another pick up the pieces.
That's it. Yeah, but yeah, so it's a dexterity game really, where you're balancing cards around on top of this tin. Why do you like it?
Well, I sort of like just the way you balance it in, and I like the bit where you go. Yeah. And other things as well. I think one of them you have to frisbee it on, and that's really hard.
You do. That's a toucan, I think. You have to frisbee it on.
Why a toucan? We don't know. We don't get it.
So yeah, it's a really good game. I really like it.
I do too.
It's a lot of fun.
That's why it's my 18.
Yeah, number 18 and I think it's great as well. Baobab or Tumble Tree. Okay, number 17 is
Forbidden Island.
Forbidden Island. And Forbidden Island is a cooperative game, isn't it? It's a classic game. Do you want to just briefly say what it is?
Well, you have to get off the island.
You have to get off the island. So you've got
briefly
an island made up of tiles in front of you, and you've got little adventurers who are going around it, and the island is sinking. Yeah. So you draw a card, and it tells you which tile is starting to sink and things like that.
And also, you can pick different couches which actually do different things. Yeah. I always pick the one where you can go diagonal as well. Yeah. It's just helpful.
Well, they're all helpful, the powers, aren't they? So it's a cooperative game where you're trying to escape a sinking island, and it's kind of based off... It's by Matt Leacock, who did Pandemic again. Yeah. And it's based off the kind of mechanics of Pandemic, but it's simpler. And the art in this is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's wonderful art. I'm just going to say why I like it before you say why you like it. And the other thing I really appreciate about this game is incredibly good value for money. I think it might be about under £20 anyway. And for such a kind of good, meaty, fun game with loads of replayability, I think...
And it doesn't get old or boring.
I don't think it gets old or boring at all, yeah. And you can set the tiles up in different ways if you start getting a bit bored as well. Yeah. So I think it's an absolute bargain, and I really appreciate... lower cost board games, especially in family board games, because it makes them more accessible. But anyway, that's why I like it.
That's my top list, so I'm gonna say why I like it. I also like the art, and I also like how it's just like, which one's gonna sink? I don't know. Am I standing on the one that's gonna sink? I don't know.
Yeah. It starts off a little bit peaceful, and then it gets more and more panicked and panicked and panicked. And
it has this on the meter where it's like flood level low, high, dangerous. You're almost dead. You're almost drowning.
Yeah, it's really good. Forbidden Island, excellent game. Okay, number 16.
Number 16 is Concept Kids, because the concept is confusing.
you play. Well, this is a child's version of a game called Concept, which is almost like charades or charades.
Yeah, except it's a board.
Except it's a board, and you're putting little tokens down on symbols to try and communicate.
You do that with this one as well, but it's a bit more simple, isn't it? Like,
there's less and then the range
about animals as well.
The range of possibilities it could be is very narrow, so it's just about average. So it's you're putting tokens down on things. So yeah, go on. You explain what you do.
Well, it might say, does it have this many legs, or does it go in night or day? And you'd put this little like square ring token and say it is nocturnal, and you put it on the night part, and that says it's nocturnal. You're not really meant to talk, but if they don't know what the symbol actually means, you can just say that means it's nocturnal. But it says, does it have a beak? Does it have scales? Does it have a shell? Does it have 8 arms? Does it have more than 8 arms?
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of different things that tells you
what kind of, and so you would put like clues on all the different things.
Yeah, and also you don't just think of an animal. There's a card, and it has a green outline or like an orange one or a red one. Sort of like Pico Mouse, just a little bit. Yeah,
so it's like the green ones are easier ones, and the red ones are harder ones. So you would do it, and then I would guess what animal you're trying to do. There's rules to having teams and points and things, but we very rarely bother with those. We just play it, don't we?
Yeah.
So there's a cooperative game.
Sometimes you could say like, I get the card if I win. That's what we usually do, but it doesn't really have an end, does it?
No, you can just keep on going. And the other
you can just stop when
the other great thing about it, and one of the reasons it's really, again, popular at our kids' board gaming club, is that people can wander in and out of the game as well. It doesn't spoil it if someone goes away, they get a bit bored. It doesn't spoil it if someone comes in and wants to play. So it's just kind of activity that generally...
The only thing that's slightly disrupting about someone coming in what to play is just that they have 0 points, you might have some points, but it doesn't really matter.
But most of the time you forget about the points anyway. You never even bother counting them up at the end to see who's won. So yeah, Concept Kids is a great game. I mean, Concept's a great game, and Concept Kids is fantastic. Yeah. I'd really love it if they did another Concept Kids
that isn't animals.
Which isn't animals, like places or I don't know what it could be, but it'd be really good to kind of expand that line, because this is a really good game.
Yeah.
Okay, number 15.
Number 15 is Imagician.
Imagician. I was going to do a magic trick. Look, ready? Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Tell you what, I used to get my nephews and nieces with that all the time. They still think I've got detachable fingers. Anyway, go on.
Well, it's sort of like a dot-to-dot thing, isn't it? It's sort of like a mixture of dot-to-dot and...
Like double or spot it or something like that?
You get the card and it says, go from this one to this one to this one to this one, but it's not in the path that it's going to be on there, so you can't tell what it is until quite late in the game.
Yeah, and then you find the symbols, and you follow them, and then you've got to work out what is the winner of that round is the person who works out what the thing is, and sometimes you can't even work out what the thing is when you finish. But this is a lovely game. Anyway, you talk. Why do you like Imagician?
Well, I sort of like the way you're trying to find it, and if you play it more, then you get better at it because you know where all the things are. Yeah.
But it's quite a big grid, though. You don't always know exactly where. You sometimes think, I remember the skull being over there somewhere.
Over here.
Yeah. So I really like this one as well. I think it's fantastic. I think it's really enjoyable to play. I have a great time playing this one, even though it's dot to dot. Yeah. I have a really great time playing this one, and the satisfaction of going, oh, it's over there, and things. It's really good. Anything else to add?
It's cool. And the little icons as well, they're really weird and cool, aren't they?
They are, there's some really kind of interesting...
It's like a pumpkin, there's like a jack-o'-lantern thing, and there's some sort of moss with eyes growing out of it, and it doesn't even make sense.
Well, they're meant to be ingredients for potions, you see, so you're linking up the ingredients for the spell.
And it's sort of like, as you can see on there, it's like adding them all together, making a butterfly.
Yeah. And the good thing about some of the icons is some of them look a little bit similar. So there's like 3 different pumpkins with different expressions on their faces, and 3 different skulls, and a few different bottles and things. So it's still quite confusing. Great game. Number 15, Imagician. Okay, number 14.
Number 14 is Sushi Roll.
Sushi Roll, which is a offshoot, a kind of sequel of sorts to Sushi Go. But I don't think you've actually played Sushi Go, have you? No. But we do own it, and we must play it sometime. But sushi, especially seeing as though you like Sushi Roll so much. Yeah. So what is Sushi Roll? What do you do? And all that stuff.
Well, you roll the dice.
Yep.
Then it says you get one of these and one of these, and you can choose which dice you roll, can't you? Mm-hmm. And you want to collect some of them to get a set, and it gives you more points. And
so it's a drafting game. So you're choosing dice, like you're choosing dice off things, aren't you?
Yeah. and then you actually give your dice to the other person.
And then they get to choose another dice. So it goes around drafting. And yeah, it's a set collection game, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
So you roll a bunch of dice, you choose one of the dice, you swap the groups of dice over, choose another dice, and then you're set collecting to try and get a bunch of stuff. What is it you like about it?
Well, sort of like the set collecting part where you probably want to set your sights on one of them before you go for all of them, because then you won't be able to do that one, and that one.
Yeah.
And there's a couple different sets you can get with more points, but it might be harder.
Yeah.
And there's also things where you can say, if you roll one of the dice, you could either get like chopsticks, which I think was getting one of the other players' dice, wasn't it? And there's other things you can do as well, so it's quite...
Yeah, lots of different kind of little things you can do with things. Cora hasn't quite worked out how to hate draft yet, which I'm very thankful for, because she will be doing it all the time.
I will.
Because she's nasty.
I will.
She's a nasty piece of work, really. She looks all cute and pleasant, and everyone goes, "Oh, I love Cora." But you try playing a game with her, because she'll try and get you. But fortunately, what you don't do is you don't pick something because I want it. You haven't quite...
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Only when it's obvious that you want it, and I just want to be me.
Exactly, yeah. So, fortunately, she hasn't quite worked out hate drafting yet, but as soon as that happens, this is going in the bin. Because we're not playing it anymore. So, Sushi Roll, great game. Okay, number 13 is...
Ghost Blitz.
Now, Ghost Blitz is a very difficult game to explain. And do you know why we know this? Why do we know this, Cora?
Because we just tried and it didn't work.
We just tried it, and we've tried about 4 or 5 takes, and we're struggling to explain how it works. And it is quite a difficult game to teach, actually.
Yeah.
Despite the fact it's really, really easy rules. But, in a nutshell, and you'll have to forgive me here...
I can explain.
There are a bunch of items on the table. There'll be a white ghost, a blue book,
a mouse,
a grey mouse, a green bottle rather, and a red chair. And there'll be a picture comes out.
And you have to grab what is right on the picture, because sometimes it might be a different colour, so that would be wrong.
Yeah.
But if the red chair is on there, you'd grab the red chair.
Yeah.
But if the blue bottle was on there, you wouldn't grab that, because you wouldn't grab the bottle because it's not the right colour.
That's exactly right. So you grab the right thing. And do you see how hard it was for us to explain that? That's the whole process that goes through your brain when you're looking at the thing. When you're playing a game, you'll get a bunch of people sitting around in a circle, all like this, ready to grab things, and then a card will come out and they'll all go, and then someone will go, oh! Like that. So it's not a grabbing game where everyone instantly springs to... It's a grabbing game where everyone's like having to work out what's going on, and
then they grab it.
And then they grab it, yeah.
It takes like 10 seconds.
Once you've had... The only downside of this game, I think, is once you've played it a lot... You start really being able to get a lot quicker. Certainly much more quicker than people who've only played it once or twice. What do you like about the game?
Well, I sort of like how you're just figuring it out, and even if you're like smaller, since everybody's hesitating, so you're trying to figure it out, you still have a chance to look at it and figure it out yourself.
Yeah, you do, yeah. And this is a game that I play often on our board game days and things like that, and you've come up to the board game days and you've been able to play that with my friends and things like that, and it's just a really great, funny...
I'm not that good at it, but I still like it.
Sometimes it's funny, and especially when 2 people go for the same thing and they're wrestling over it. And then they start punching each other.
Give me the...
And then they get a bottle and smash it over the head, and a chair.
And then get the chair and then get the bottle.
Quite violent, our board game days. Anyway, so so that's Ghost Blitz. Okay, number 12 is...
Zombie Kids.
Zombie Kids Evolution. And this is a cooperative game where you are playing kids trying to stop zombies coming into a school, aren't you, basically? Going around and battling them.
Zombie kids.
And it's also the first kids game that I'm aware of that's also a legacy game.
Yeah. It does have a thing where it's like the more you play, the more you actually unlock. It's not it's not sort of like a cartoon where it's like you forget about everything that happened the last episode.
Yeah.
It's not like that, like most games are, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's an interesting way of putting it, but you're completely right. So it's like everything has a consequence, well, not everything, but things change as the thing goes on.
Yeah, and the more you play it, the more like rewards you get, the more characters you unlock.
And there's also a kind of reward system where you put stickers in the back of the book and things like that, which is really fun. So is that what you like about it?
Yeah, and I also like where I think you can name the characters, can't you? And I don't know why, but I just like filling in things.
Yeah. As I say, it's the first Legacy game for kids, and it's really, really good quality.
It is.
I really like it. We haven't finished it completely, have we? We're about 2/3 of the way through it. Sometimes it can be a tiny bit of a grind between unlocks.
Yeah.
I think you generally play about 3 or 4 games of it, but they're quite rapid games. Yeah. But before you get the next thing, and we haven't played it for a while, have we?
No.
But we'll get back on it, and Cora really likes it.
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, it's really good.
I like how they're all using like water guns and they're like.
There's another one. There's Zombie Teens, I think, which is going to be a follow-up one. So, but you're not allowed to play it till you're 13. That's the law. Sorry. Okay. So that's Zombie Kids, and that was number 12. On to number 11. We're getting close to that top 10. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, number 11.
Number 11 is Bucket King 3D.
Bucket King 3D. What do you like? What is this game, and what do you like about it?
Well, I think there was one where it's not 3D, isn't it? But in this game, it's actual buckets.
It's actual buckets, not big buckets. Little. You might call them little tiny tubs, really, I suppose. But yeah, and you put them in a pyramid, don't you?
Yeah.
And this is a card game, and you've got a hand of cards.
Don't shake the table.
Don't shake the table, because it'll all fall over. And there's various rules with the card game and things, but basically you're competing to try and stop people taking your buckets away.
Yeah.
And
Don't take my bucket.
And when someone does take your bucket away...
you took my bucket.
Exactly. And you can either take it... If you're lucky, the bucket that needs to be taken away is from the top or the side, so it doesn't do any disruption. But if it's from the bottom...
You go... It's like having a big, one of those card pyramids and then just getting the tablecloth and going...
It is. And this is a game where people get really kind of comedy frustrated, don't they?
You took my buckets!
Well, not even buckets, it's when the cards come round and you're playing the cards, if someone plays one you don't want them to, it's like, no! And all that kind of stuff.
It's a little bit like Llama, isn't it?
A little bit like Llama, which may or may not be coming up later. But yeah, it's a really kind of good, nice card game with the lovely bits of 3D buckets and just enjoyable. And we've had some great times with this.
Definitely.
And some of my friends' kids I'm never speaking to again because of the things they did to me in Bucket King 3D. Oh yeah, I'm talking about you. You know who you are. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so that's number 11. So the next one is
Top 10.
Cora's top 10.
My top 10 favourite board games of all time.
Top 10 favourite board games of all time! See, I could be Dice Towers announcer. I don't know why they got Eric Summer to do it. It's ridiculous.
Of all time!
Of all time! So we'll see you then, basically. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!